Hello there. So, my name is Dr. Mackenzie Salt, and I am the discussant for this session. I am a postdoctoral fellow at McMaster University's Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Neurosciences, and a member of the McMaster Autism Research Team. And I'm also autistic. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when I was 13. My research primarily focuses on autistic adults, a chronically under-researched and underserved community. And I'm here to provide some additional reflection on the excellent equity panel that we just saw. I firstly want to thank the organizers for the summit for inviting me to speak here. And I also wanted to thank the panelists and the moderator for the equity panel for providing such a great discussion with which to cap off a wonderful summit. I'm going to be addressing a couple of themes that really stood out to me from the discussion in the equity panel. And one of the major ones was the notion of a lack of voice. Communities need a voice to be able to advocate for themselves. And there are many communities, many populations within the ASD community that feel that they not only lack a voice, but also that there is no attempt to even consult them in the first place. This lack of acknowledgement, outreach, and feedback is very concerning, and it goes against the mantra of nothing about us without us. And a common phrase in the autism community goes, when you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. And this is so very true and especially relevant here. As a white man with Asperger's, I cannot relate to the lived experiences of women on the spectrum or racialized or indigenous people on the spectrum. There may be some commonalities in some parts of our experience, but quite possibly not. Just because we're all on the spectrum doesn't mean that all our experiences are the same. And I think it's important to expand this notion of equity, to not only include our marginalized communities, our ethnocultural communities, our gender communities, but also across the spectrum as well. So I cannot relate to the lived experience of a minimally verbal autistic person, and I also cannot, I do not have the lived experience as to what it's like to receive government autism services. I didn't receive them as a child. I haven't received them as an adult. And so I might be looked on by an outsider to be an ideal person to consult on an issue like this, such as a government looking to provide services. But I'm easy to find. Like, you Google my name, you find my email or whatever, you find a conference paper I presented, some talk I've given. But the issue there is that I can only represent people in similar situations or lived experience to myself. And we really need a diverse set of voices, not just one or two that are easy to track down. And relating back to the theme of lack of feedback and lack of consultation, it's important to get autistic voices to be heard there as well. When evaluating services, it's important to consider what are the criteria for what is a good service, who decides what those criteria are, who is doing the evaluating, and for what purpose. It's very easy to use cost or similar financial metric to gauge whether a system or whether a service or program is, quote, good. But I'm sure that diverse autistic voices might find other aspects that are more important. And for a national autism strategy, there will need to be a diverse set of autistic voices included. This includes one of the other themes that was discussed, increasing awareness, especially on the heterogeneity of autism. And I'm not referring to difference in symptom presentation, which is how we normally think of, especially in the clinical research sense of autism. We think of heterogeneity as, oh, these are all the different symptoms and how they present. So I don't mean that, but the diversity of experiences, the heterogeneity of experiences across the spectrum, including the experiences of autistics in already marginalized communities. So the final theme here that really stood out to me was unity. The panel noted the need for governments to work together. Indeed, multi-partisanship And cooperation between different levels of government will be crucial for a national autism strategy to happen. And for other concerns noted in the panel, such as lack of resources and leadership, we need that cooperation, we need that multi-partisanship, we need our governments to step up and work together. And I think as well, the autism community needs to work together too. Right now, there are a number of divisions in the autism community, and it's hard for the autism community in Canada to speak with one voice. I think that CASDA is becoming a larger voice and has the potential to provide a diverse and unified perspective in time with more autistic voices. To do that, however, respect and trust would have to be established and continued with other organizations and communities and populations within the broader autism community. So addressing these concerns, we may be able to do, as the panelists so succinctly put, stop talking and start doing, and start working towards a national autism strategy. Thank you.